What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my analysis of the Khadein seasonal banner that we have got. And we have got Nino as the first unit. So she is a red infantry mage this time, and she definitely takes a book out of Yuri and also Brave Female Byleth with her base kit. So she has got Child's Compass, and this does give you -1 special cooldown, and at start of turn, if she is at or above 25% HP, then she gets 1 extra movement and she cannot really be hindered by the terrain. So she gets that as a status. It's not exactly like an inbuilt thing, for example, like we have seen before on Duo Ephraim and Takumi. So this is a status effect, and she can also move 1 space, which is definitely really good if Yuri has been any kind of example. But she's not going to be having access to Disarm Trap, nor is she's going to be having access to Kanto like Yuri. So that is one of her shortcomings, but this weapon is still pretty good because then it gives her +5 to all of her stats and also gives her bonus to her attack and speed, depending on the bonus statuses that are present on her, multiplied by 4. So this pretty much includes the Unhindered Movement status that she can give to herself. This also includes the special charges status that Na can give and Linde can give. So basically, if you have 4 status, then this is going to be going all the way up to max 16 attack and speed, which is quite a lot, especially with speed preempt. And then finally, if she deals damage to the foe using a special, then she can reduce the damage from foe's next attack by 50%. So this is definitely going to be, again, following the footsteps of Brave Female Byleth, functioning as a speed preempt unit who's going to be able to trigger special with her weapon, and then she's going to be able to tank in case she doesn't kill with this kind of damage reduction. So that is going to be her playstyle, but she can also function a lot better in the player phase because she's going to be having that 3 movement, and she does have access to these infantry only skills, which Female Byleth does not have access to. So she can easily use attack speed finish to get the healing and get the true damage, and then speed preempt is definitely going to be amazing with a build like this. And then she finally brings the tier 4 version of Time Pulse. So it is like the regular Time Pulse, but it also has a mini special spiral, and this mini special spiral only works after the combat if the special cooldown count is at its maximum cooldown value, which is gonna be not working out for something like Godlike Reflexes. I've seen so many people theorize this with Godlike Reflexes, but basically with Godlike Reflexes you're gonna be attacking, and that is not gonna be having your special at like its maximum cooldown count most of the time. So it is going to be working out with a lot of the -1 special cooldown weapons, like it does for Nino, for a lot of Vital Astra users, for Ruptured Sky users, for Arcane Eclipse users. I'm going to be making a separate video for this skill because this skill is so fun, honestly, and can work out on so many infantry units and makes them a lot better. And this is also a 300 SP Slotsy skill, which means that a lot of the units who would want Time Pulse in their Slotsy, like Legendary Dimitri for example, can now just run this as a high scoring skill for arena purpose. So Nino is going to be amazing as a Vantage unit in the enemy phase with speed preempt, and also works in the player phase with her weapon and the 3 movement that she has got, and the Unhindered Movement. They did show us how she just goes over the tree tile like there. And her stats are already seen over here, so she does have extremely high speed at base 46. She's actually the fastest unit in the game right now. All of the other units that we've got pretty much reach like base 45 speed, the fastest ones. But Nino just breaks the sound barrier and goes to 46 base speed. So that is going to be Nino, and I'm definitely going to be trying to pull her as I'm a big fan of her, and I'm really happy that she got a really good Altair on this kind of banner. The next unit that we have is going to be Ursula. So she is a green Mage Cavalier this time, and her art is just absolutely top tier. Rika Suzuki does not ever miss, it seems. So she has got her weapon, Crow's Crystal, and this does give you -1 special cooldown, and at start of turn you can basically get the unit cannot be slowed by the terrain effect, which is the Unhindered Movement, and the Desperation status, and the Dominance status. So you get 3 status at the same time with Ursula's weapon. So she has Desperation and Dominance, which means that she can easily run the Trace skill Inner Slot B, and she also gets the half null follow-up with the other effect in her weapon. So she's going to be able to bypass any kind of follow-up negation effects, and she can also get +6 attack and speed in the combat. So Ursula is going to be a really good unit in Aether Raids defense and in Summoner Duels because she does not care about the trench tiles, and she's going to be able to pass through them, which is going to be making her a really good option to be used in Summoner Duels, with Brave Crom, because Brave Crom can just copy all of the 3 status which Ursula provides and then just get a lot of stats and also make use out of them himself. So as expected, Brave Crom is going to be a good unit with any kind of units who get these kinds of status. So she is still going to be blocked by the tree tiles, but at least not getting slowed down by the trenches is definitely pretty amazing for a Mage Cavalier, and it's going to be making her a pretty good unit in Aether Raids defense, especially with Desperation and Dominance. So she can definitely try and hurt some of the far safe tanks that are blue, like Ascended Idun and Brave Hector. But the thing is that they already have debuff neutralization, so her Dominance is not exactly going to be working on them. She's still going to be getting the Desperation and the partial non-follow-up against them, but still, they can be pretty tanky. But still, overall, she is going to be a really solid nuke. And just keep in mind that all of these visible status are going to be susceptible to Duo Thor's Duo Button in Summoner Duels. So that's why they're kind of making these as a status so that you can erase them in terms of Summoner Duels metagame. They have also given her Moonbow and Chill Speed Resistance 3, and Panic Smoke is actually available on her quite soon after being available on Legendary Veronica. So if you don't want to fodder off Legendary Veronica, then Panic Smoke 4 is here, and it does have good synergy with the Dominance that she has got in her weapon. And you usually want to run her with units like a Versa or like Geralt, who can debuff a lot of foes at the same time, or Yune, of course, with her remix, which makes her a top tier mage herself. So she's going to be able to do true damage with Dominance, which is going to be making her a pretty solid unit. But the debuff neutralization foes are basically going to be the main annoyance for her. And I think that as for her stats, she's going to be pretty offensively oriented, all things considered. I don't think she's going to be having, very high defense or even resistance. She's going to be pretty fast at base 45 speed. Nino and Linde are also kind of similar to that. So I can see her being really, really good offensively. Next up, we have got the 4-star focus unit of this banner, and it is going to be Male Byleth. And he is like a top tier, 4-star seasonal focus that we have got, just like Summer Claude. So both teacher and student are similar in that aspect, and he's a blue infantry mage this time. He could be considered like a side grade of Legendary Male Byleth, honestly, because he comes with Sublime Heaven in his base kit, and if you give him Time Pulse 4 from Nino, then he's going to be functioning really, really well, always having Sublime Heaven active. And keep in mind that Sublime Heaven, the reason why it's so good is because it can pierce through the damage reduction skills, so you don't even have to give him like Special Spiral 4 or anything like that. So he has got Guide's Hourglass, which does give him -1 special cooldown, and at start of turn he can give himself the obviously the Unhindered Movement status like the other units, and also gives himself the dodge status for 1 turn. And if he initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, he can get +5 to all of his stats, and also gets the tempo effect, which means that he bypasses any kind of guard effect and just shuts down any kind of special acceleration of the foes. And then he can also support his allies by giving them +4 to all of their stats who are within 2 spaces of him. So this, unit is just amazing as a 4-star focus, because he is going to be essentially a side grade of Legendary Male Byleth, and he's going to be functioning with that Sublime Heaven, has got the tempo effect in his weapon. There are not a lot of mages that have that in their weapon. So this is just really, really good. And he also has dodge. So even though he's not going to be the bulkiest unit with his base stats, he's still going to be able to function well with the dodge and take the hits, which does make him slightly more unique than Legendary Male Byleth in that aspect, because Legendary Male Byleth doesn't really get any of that. But here, he doesn't really get null follow-up like Legendary Male Byleth. So you're going to be, seeing that difference between both of these, but he's absolutely amazing, seasonal focus unit. And I would say that he's actually better than Summer Claude as a 4-star focus, because he's going to be having competitive relevance. With Summer Claude, in my opinion, kind of didn't have, like in Aether Raids and Summoner Duels in the higher echelons of the plays. At least Byleth is going to be a pretty solid nuke with this kind of Sublime Heaven, and is going to be able to function in those game modes. So yeah, definitely a pretty solid unit. And I do expect him to have kind of similar stat spread to what he has. I don't think he's going to be as fast as any of the other units, because he is the 4-star focus. So a base 43 speed is what I'm expecting, and he's probably going to be having pretty balanced mixed bulk and good attack stat at base 40. So that's our amazing 4-star focus unit. The final unit of this banner, and definitely the star of this banner, is going to be Linde here with Sara. So I definitely did not expect this. I was expecting maybe Fina with another dancer, and Linde is a red Mage Cavalier. So we don't really have any kind of colorless unit on this banner. We have two red mages in Nino and Linde. And Linde is just a top tier support unit. So she has got Celestial Globe as her preferred weapon, and this gives her -1 special cooldown. And at start of turn, she can give herself and the allies within 2 spaces the Unhindered Movement status and also the Null Follow-Up status, which is just insane. She's just going to be distributing null follow-up like it's candy, and this does not even have restriction of infantry null follow-up or, you know, infantry speed tactic, where only infantry units can make use of this. So even flying units, cavalry units, armor units are going to be able to make use of the null follow-up status that she gives. Now keep in mind that this null follow-up status is actually speed-based null follow-up. So again, it is only going to be useful on the faster allies, but still this is a huge thing. And this also means that, you know, it is going to be a buff to a lot of the Cavaliers like Brave Seliph, for example, or Legendary Secret, for example. They're not going to be slowed down by the Trench because they are going to be able to get the Unhindered status from Linde, and that is extremely unique, and you know, we haven't really seen anything like that before. So I think she is just amazing as a support unit, just as a one-off copy. I don't think she is really a merge project type of unit. Just a one single copy of her is going to be making you have a lot of fun with those units, just opening up new you know, strategies with null follow-up and also this Unhindered Movement. So this is kind of reference to mages not being slowed down on the desert tiles in the mainline games, so that's why they have this Unhindered Movement. And then she can also get +5 to all of her stats in the combat, and also does true damage based on 20% of her speed, even with the AoE specials. And she can cut the damage reduction skills, which are non-special skills, by half, just like Duels. So if you're facing someone with Dragon Wall, you pretty much have their damage reduction from 40% to 20%. So that is going to be really good offensively. So not only she's amazing for the support, but also amazing in the combat by, you know, just cutting this damage reduction in half. And then she's got Luna and also Remote Sparrow as the new skill. And it's definitely good to see because finally ranged units have got something new to play with. They were not able to have access to Surge Sparrow, but Remote Sparrow is pretty much a better version of Surge Sparrow because it gives you +7 attack and speed in the player phase, and also reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%. And this is going to be really helpful for any kind of frail player phase unit where they might be able to survive because of this damage reduction. And then she's got Speed Resistance Fortress and Defense Rest Smoke 3. So that is going to be Linde, who is going to be a very, very good support unit, and definitely someone who is going to be summoned and sparked by many people for sure because of her support and how unique it is. So imagine like Brave Seliph not getting hindered by the, you know, trenches. That is a very scary unit in itself. And then you pretty much give them the Harmonic skill as well, where they get the dodge status, they get the special cooldown +1 status, which is given by Na and also Fallen Ninian. And she also gives the Resonant Blades effect. Now granted, this is not going to be given to Seliph because he's a genealogy unit, and this kind of harmonized skill is only going to be working for the Arcania units and the Thracia 776 units. So it's not really as universally useful like a duo skill obviously, but still nonetheless this is a very, very good effect. She just gives so much status to these units. And again, Brave Trom just smiling in the corner. If he copies any kind of unit who has got all of these status, he just gets so many status himself. Even though, you know, the special charges status is a bit redundant with this weapon. But yeah, you get the point how these units are going to function really well with them. And we also have Soren as the free-to-play Grail unit here, and he's a blue infantry mage, and he has got a 4 cooldown special, so probably has Glacies in my opinion. I'm not really too sure if he's going to be having a preferred weapon or not, because we got Summer Claude, we got preferred weapons on that summer banner, and then we had Alincia with Whitecap Bow Plus, so it was not really a preferred weapon. So I am really hoping that he gets like his preferred weapon, which is on par with like the rest of these units with the Unhindered Movement status. Otherwise, it is going to be an inhittable weapon, I suppose, that just gives him offenses. So we'll be knowing about that tomorrow on the FEH reset. So overall, this banner is definitely pretty competitive in nature. Like Aether Raids defense has usage for Ursula, you know, Byleth, also has usage for Linde. Like she gives null follow-up to everyone, so your entire team can get null follow-up status so easily. Granted, she is going to be susceptible to Elamine, but I'm mainly talking about like Dark Defense, for example, which is already pretty stacked with Embla and Medius, and also Yune. So now they have another tool at their disposal. and Nino is going to be really good in the player phase, and Ursula is also a Summoner Duels unit along with Linde. So a lot of these units have competitive relevance, and like this banner is definitely pretty good. So let me know what you think about this banner overall, and what do you think about the units present here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share this with your friends, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member as well. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as the amount of Khadein units present on this Khadein banner. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.